All right, welcome to another edition of the Serving Second podcast. My name is Dr. Toussaint Williams, and I'm your host. And today I'm really excited. I have a good friend, a special guest, Mr. Karl Phillips. Some of you know him as the Bayesian sensation, but we praise God for him being with us today. Karl, how are you doing today?
Oh man, blessed. Another day above ground. That's all I need.
Man, listen, it is crazy to have you on. We've just started this journey not too long ago, but I've been watching. We kind of had played parallel roles and working with Eric over the years. And so it's just crazy to be able to connect with you on this level. This is our first time to really kind of get engaged and kind of delve into some of the topics we're talking about. Here at Serving Second, we focus on individuals that serve in the background, some of the folks that don't always get the spotlight, but we are a part of a team that without us, a lot of things would not be done. This idea of, I think about it, like the book I wrote, How to Be a Scotty in a Michael Jordan World. There was another side of individuals that work to make sure we get championships. And you've been that for many folks know Eric Thomas and the hip hop preacher, but you were the one who was behind the scenes making it happen. Just real quick, tell us about your journey and how you started working with him.
Oh man. So I'll give you the short version. Born and raised in Barbados. And for people that don't understand the Bayesian sensation, because a lot of people's like they spell it like the color beige.
Yeah.
Bayesian is just slang term for Barbadian, right? So it's Bayesian sensation. So I'm from Barbados originally, and I ended up here in school. Just in short, my brother came to school and he went to AUC. It was in Boston at the time, and I'm coming up to graduation time, and I'm like, all right, I'm not about to be here. It's just two of us. I'm not about to be here with my parents by myself. So what you got going on? So literally, I just kind of found myself at Andrews University, um, and I'm fast forwarding. If you want more details, feel free. I'm just kind of just flowing with it. But Andrews University graduated, and this is my master's degree. I had done my undergrad already, and in biology, both undergrad and master's in biology. And my brother at that time transitioned to Michigan State. So he's in Michigan, I'm in Michigan, and he actually goes to this small local church. So it's 2 hours away from Andrew. So I would just drive up there every weekend just to be with
Mm,
him, to hang out. Like he was more established than I was. So, that was kind of home base. So I would go up there every weekend, hang with him. And maybe a year or two after I started that process, this guy shows up at the church, and one of my friends is sitting next to me, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, you know who that is?" And I'm like, "Who?" Nah, I have no idea.
yeah.
They're like, "Oh my gosh, that's Eric Thomas," and I was like, "Who's that?" He like a speaker and all that. I was like, "Okay, cool." Like, not knowing nothing. And at that time, Eric was the Huntsville Eric
Yeah.
then.
Yeah. Until
Like,
Eric Thomas.
so those from Oakwood, like, him, he had already made a name for himself. He had already been doing some incredible stuff speaking across the country, but it wasn't the ET the hip hop preacher yet. So again, no idea who he was, but started coming to church, and eventually he became the pastor of the church. Again, fast forwarding
Mm,
kind of through
mhm.
it. So I'm seeing that, okay, and again, I still don't know him personally like that, but I'm seeing like this dude is really about something. So I'm watching like, okay, he's coming. When he speaks, of course, we won't have to get into that. Like the moment he opens his mouth, it's like, oh no, there's something there.
Yeah,
That's
there's
the
something
presence
different
of
about this guy.
God. You know what I mean? So it's like I found myself drawn to him, but the timing was perfect. God's timing is ideal, y'all. So I
Mm,
graduated from Andrews University, my master's in biology, 2004, and I have nothing to do at this time. I'm just applying for jobs, substitute teaching, whatever. So no real direction, right? I never planned to be a medical, to be a doctor. So I don't have the med school path. I really just followed the education route, got a master's, and I'm gonna figure it out now. So I literally walked up to Eric. This is the summer after I graduated. I was like, hey, truthfully, I'm not really doing nothing. And I think I'm a pretty cool, smart guy. And you look like you got a lot going on. Like, do you need
yeah.
help with anything? And to answer the question directly, that's how we met and connected. Eric told me, yes, I need help. Now, mind you, he had no idea what he needed at the time, but he was just like, yep, come on, meet me up at Michigan State at 8 o'clock on Monday morning. And I promise you, that was 20 years ago, and we are still rocking right to this day.
Wow, that is crazy. It's interesting. And those who don't have an opportunity, you are missing out on the podcast. Is y'all's podcast has been a blessing to me. I remember the one episode, and I really knew we connected. When Eric was here at Oakwood, we had opportunity to, hang out with him. I'll go to the house, wash clothes. We watch the Lions lose, all that stuff.
Ah, come
And
on,
one day,
don't do that.
yeah, 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 yeah. I'm a Tennessee Titans fan, but man, listen, we would go out there. We watch this when the kids were young.
Mhm.
They couldn't have been more than 3 and 5 or something like that.
Yeah.
And one day I needed to pick up a friend from the airport, and so I take E's car, and I was like, "Yo, let me get to the car. I need to go check." Of course, it's a female. So I'm running around running street. Man, I get into a car accident to where his
Mm.
driver's side, the passenger side back door got blew out. He ended up putting
Ouch.
it was a brown car. He ended up putting a blue door on the car. And I was just like, every time I saw, Eric was like, "Yo, man, there's no problem. Are you okay?" And I am terrified. I don't have the money. I know Dee Dee's gonna
Yeah.
kill me. Like, I'm just
Yeah.
scared that, like, I don't want to go to church. I'm looking at her. And then he drove around Huntsville, and he just drove with the door proudly, and he never brought it up. And so when I heard you did the same thing, I was like, "Oh man, somebody else." And
Hey, we
it was
kindred,
crazy.
bruh.
Yeah, kindred spirit. But man, that just kind of showed. I love what you said about just kind of identifying God's timing and how he allowed you to kind of work things out. So tell us, you're with Eric. He's this big, a massive figure. And then how does that work where you kind of just stick? It's been 20 years. How did that happen? For some people maybe looking about how can I be a part of a team or something like that to support.
So I'm on, yeah, I'm there. Let's get to work. So
Yeah.
I want to I just want to let people know, number one, that like God is real. Right.
Mm,
And I'm not here to preach a sermon. I'm not that guy at all. As a matter of fact, I'm very introverted. I like to sit at my computer by myself. Let's just establish this. But I want you guys to understand that God is real. And what I mean by that is he has a very unique plan for every one of us.
hmm
I know it don't look like that. Hear my words. I know it don't look like he know what he doing a lot of the time, but the person that Carl brought to Eric is not the person that you're seeing now. That God brought to Eric, sorry. It's not the person you're seeing now. What I mean by that, and the person that God brought to Carl, being Eric, is not the same person you're seeing now. And I'm saying he knew what we needed,
mm,
right? So Eric had very little structure. Just to be honest, Eric, incredible talent. Nobody's going to argue that, but very little structure. And the truth is, I don't know that he needed it at the time where he was. But where we needed to go, guess what? I'm a person that's the opposite. And of course, CJ is like Eric and CJ connected before. I'm talking about like Batman and Robin. They connected
mm.
maybe a year before me or a little less than a year. So I come into the ecosystem with the two of them, and they're both extremely dominant, strong personalities. So me coming into that ecosystem, it was weird, and CJ always jokes about it. CJ said Carl would be the last person I would look to pick to put on our team because he was not like us.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
reserved. Like I'm the dude that's just kind of chill, quiet, going with the flow. Like, hey, whatever you need, I got. Like I'm not even trying to upset the system. And that in itself is why God put me there, because that version of Carl was good, but he needed a version of Carl that actually could make decisions and do some things and grow and not just be back to what you said, just the support guy. Right. So God put me in a place where I could be the support, but learn that support is important, but you got to lead in support.
Listen, no, listen, you have encapsulated this idea, but I want to kind of push through at this concept of serving second. Like what I'm hearing you say is you had some innate gifts and skills that God had placed inside of you, but he put you in a situation where there were more inside of you that you didn't even realize. And I love that, I don't want to assume for our listeners that don't necessarily know the history, but just because some people may be listening and saying, man, I'm just a support. But what
Yeah.
I love what you're saying is that you've got to lead in that support. And I think that makes all the difference in the world. Just tell us about that journey of leading in support. Now, I know now you have your own, deeper than the brand and some of the other things that you got going on. But walk us through that metamorphosis of the idea of, man, I'm leading in this area or vein that in this team.
I'm laughing at myself when you see me shaking my head because I'm still fighting it to this day. Let me just be super transparent with everybody listening. Like it's not something that all of a sudden, like boom, oh, Carl, you're great at everything now. You love being in the spotlight now. You can take on a load, and you can. No, I still get up every day because I am who I am. I have to make a decision every single day. And again, that's what I'm saying. God put me in an environment with very dominant personalities to always make me uncomfortable in that area. Now, please hear what I'm saying. There's no part of me that I'm saying has to become a dominant, loud type of leader. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying with the gifts that I have to learn how to, let me use a different word, take ownership
Mm,
of the gifts that God has given me. So when we hear leadership, most of us think that you got to be out front and you got to be the person that, everybody knows your name and you're the, no, 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 no. It's whatever is in your hand, you take full ownership of. The responsibility is yours. I don't care if you're leading a team of 2, a team of 200. If it doesn't happen the way it's supposed to, I take
mm,
full responsibility for it. So to talk about the development again, everything, I would just wait. When we started, I would just wait for the instruction. Tell me what to do, is done. I'm smart, I'm an intelligent dude. I'm not at that time not the most like, I can't tell you I was technologically great, but I can learn. Like, I have the ability to learn. That's one of the gifts that God gave me. So anything you ask me to do, I can figure it out. So like I
mhm,
said, perfect match. So Eric and CJ are having all these incredible ideas, the extroverts, like, yo, we should do this and that and that. And then it's like, okay, so now what happens? CJ be like, you know what? We need to write up a document. Hey, Carl, you know how to do this? Like, create this graphic, a flyer on Word. And I was like, no, but he jokes now. My famous line was like, yo, just give me a minute. I'll figure it out.
mm,
And that became the flow. I'll figure it out. But everything that would happen was me waiting for instruction from somebody else, me waiting for it. And then here's the other part. I told you God knew what I needed. Now, when I get it completed, now I'm waiting for their approval of it. Is it
mm.
good? Is it good? Like, what do you think? Let me know if it's good so I can feel good about what I just did. Please hear what I'm saying, y'all. I don't want y'all to miss any of this. God
Yeah.
knew what Carl needed. I'm still the same introvert guy, but he knew that I needed to be somebody that can make my own decisions, take responsibility and ownership for anything that he put in front of me. And then at the end of the day, stand my foot on it. I just did that. And I did it with everything that I had inside of me. So if you have a problem with it or you got any critiques, I'm open to learn, but understand that I just put my heart and soul into that. And it's probably better than you or anybody else around you would have done. Like, I'm talking with a different kind of confidence now because I have gone through that process, and I'm gonna share a couple stories with you, but I've gone through the process of, being scared all the time. Just being real. So I'll take you all the way back. So again, we're on the road, we connect, and at this time we're getting gigs in schools, churches, we're traveling. Dude, we're spending money like renting vans and going and doing a week of prayer.
Yeah.
And in the middle of the week of prayer, so we did a week of prayer, I remember in New York, Ephesus church there. We did one at the Church of the Oranges in New Jersey. While doing the week of prayer, we're also doing schools during the day, 3-4 schools during the day, week of prayer at night. So we're grinding. So again, I'm taking all the roles that you don't have to see. I got the camera. I'm gonna record it. Make sure we got some footage. We captured it. I'm gonna work on the slides. So if, whatever he's talking to teachers, students, if CJ is talking, we got all that right. One Saturday morning, one beautiful Sabbath morning, we pull up to this. I think it was the last day of the week of prayer in New Jersey. And Eric turns to me as we're driving to the church. Remember, I tell you, not structured. As we're driving to the church, like, hey, Carl, I think you should lead out. We got to do the youth section this morning. We got to do the Sabbath school.
Yeah.
He's like, Carl, you grew up in the church. I think you should lead out with this, bruh. Again, think of this dude that does not like, I'm talking about being seen. Hear what I'm telling you. I don't want to be seen. I want to be behind the camera. I want to be, Erica's like, no, 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 Carl, you grew up in the church. I think these kids can relate to you. And I remember that day, Toussaint, just pulling up to the church, my stomach, bruh, I am in shambles. I can't think, bruh, I can't talk, I can't move. We going to church and I'm shaking. I'm like, he's asking me to speak in front of these people. That's not. And here's the weird part. Here's the really weird part. I want people to hear me. There's no part of me that's dumb. There's no part of me that thinks I won't do a good job. There's no part of me. I just allowed fear to run my life for such a long
Mm,
time. So the whole concept of growing, like, I'm like, no, I'm comfortable here. Like, just turn the camera on. I got you. I'm gonna take care of that. He's like, no, you got to do this one. I get up in front of those kids, and again, I don't want to take any credit, but the session was incredible. God used me in a way
Mm,
that morning that was so incredible. I just give a little insight. The first question I asked is like, yo, who wants to be here? And a couple hands kind of like half. I was like, okay, who really don't want to be here? Let's talk for real. Who don't want to be here? And
mhm.
it's that teenage group of kids and hands like pfft. I was like, let me be real. Who prefer to be out with their friends today, going to the mall, watching a game, doing something else? And the hands are flying up. And I was like, yep, I know exactly what you're talking about. Again, I could relate. I grew up in the church and I started a dialogue, and you see these kids engaging and all that. And that was one of those moments that God kind of spoke to me and says, I have plans for you.
Wow.
There's an audience that Eric is going to reach, and he can reach a lot of people, but there's some people that are going to connect with you in a way that Eric can't. He just can't relate to them, just not because he's not great, but he doesn't have the experience to be able to speak their language. So you would think that they cured it all, and from that point on, I was like, "Yep,
Just know
sign
it.
me
Just
up.
gonna,
I
yeah.
got it." No, that cycle repeated. Hear what I'm telling y'all closely. God is so patient. That cycle repeated for probably 15 years. And 15 years, we started a podcast, and same thing. Like I'm I'm there to record the podcast. Like I got CJ mic'd, Eric mic'd, and CJ kept asking me questions. And I was like, why are you talking to me? Like, just talk. Like, I'm recording.
Yeah.
And for people that don't know, from then until now, we've been doing the podcast over 10 years now. Like, I have watched myself too. So, and I'm smiling because, again, I don't often sit and think about this, but I've watched myself grow. And again, no credit to me. God has put me in a
Mhm.
place where not only have I grown, I'm going to give you everything now. I'm an author. I wrote a book.
Yeah.
That book led to a community that Eric told me, please start this community. People need to
Wait, hold
hear
on, hold
from
on, hold
you.
on. Wait, because folks, tell us. You got to tell us the name of the book.
I got you.
And
I got you.
yeah.
Hold on. Hold on. It's
Okay.
here. Let me grab it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Moving Past Potential.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I want y'all to hear the name of the title. Like the book is literally Carl, like, dude, like study your life. Like this is something I say in the community all the time. There's no time in my life that I have been given the opportunity to do something and failed miserably at it. Like,
Wow.
please
Come
hear
on
what I'm
now.
saying. I've
Yeah.
done a lot of different things, but there's no time. Even like whatever it is, you name it. Like I have operated above average my entire life, but yet I allowed fear, insecurity, lack of confidence, all those things to keep me from everything that God had. So please hear what I'm saying, y'all. God is not. I know it looked like sometimes he not hearing, he not listening, he not here. Like he's waiting on you. Like
Mm,
he's waiting on you. But this book came about now because I'm at a place where, please hear what I'm saying, y'all. Like I'm gonna slow down here. Hey, guide me, all right? But I'm gonna slow down here.
mhm,
So I get to a place where this don't feel like it's working. Like, please hear what I'm saying. I am doing a lot. We're traveling. Like it never stopped. Like it continued to
mhm,
grow and grow. Now instead of high schools and middle schools, it's colleges and NBA and NFL and corporate and um like I want people to understand the picture. We're on the road, Eric and I sometimes before before we get to the point where we got staff and all that. Eric and I are taking merch. We got some merch. We got books. I got cameras. I got my computer, the slides. It's a two-man show. So
mhm,
listen to the roles. We arrive at the event the night before because we're not structured. We're still finishing slides. I'm working on slides. We get to the event. Eric has to go meet the people, that kind of stuff. I'm setting up a table, trying to find somebody real quick. Yo, can you sit here while we go inside and record? We selling the shirts for this. We doing that. Like trying to figure it out. We got the little stripe thing that you could swipe cards, whatever. We trying to figure it out. While that's going on, I got to run inside and set the cameras up. Then I got to make sure Eric's mic is working. I got to go, sometimes up in some booth somewhere to make sure the slides are working. It's chaos. That's what I'm trying to paint the picture. It's chaos. Mind you, we don't have a lot of staff. So I'm still checking emails behind the scenes, like any customers not getting orders. Eric and I at this time are still shipping books. CJ is with us, but CJ actually was traveling. So he's not living with us. So he's
mhm,
remote, right? So he's still heavily involved, but he's not underground. So literally everything falls on our shoulders. I mean, everything. We're traveling through the airport with boxes and books, and it's a lot. And there comes a point in my life where I allowed the enemy to question, like, yo, what are you doing?
mm,
Right. And I want people to hear this part because now not only does God have a plan for us, but we got an enemy that also has a plan for us. So, and I'm still setting up why the book came about. I get to the point where I'm starting to feel like, dude, I'm doing it so much. Now, mind you, I'm not focused on what anybody else is doing. Trigger number one, like I'm all self-focused now, like this is too
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
I'm doing all this. I don't see where it's going. And these thoughts start to take over my life. So now as much as I'm getting what I prayed for, what I need, and I'm enjoying this, now there's this thing that's pulling me away from it. And I'm getting more and more withdrawn and more uncomfortable. And at this point, I'm like, yo, something is wrong. I'm not confrontational. I'm an introvert. So I'm not going to Eric and say, like, E, like, let's talk, man. Like, I feel none of that. It's all now just circling in my head. Like, please, y'all. I wanna be transparent and share my stuff. And again, guide me. Like,
Now, no, because I want to pause here because you're saying you're having these self-doubt experiences while you're traveling the world. You're going over Egypt, you're on the
absolutely.
camels, you're seeing all these pyramids. You're from the outside looking in for somebody that's like that connects with you. They probably see you're with this world,
Best
with
life.
the best speaker, motivational speaker in the world. He goes to NFL, NBA games. You're with him right beside him. But at the same time, there's this inner turmoil that, man, you're not good enough. You feel like you're insecure. I'm the only one working. And like that is real. And you're being successful at the same,
At the
when I
same
say
time.
successful, the
Yep.
idea of success would be I'm moving with a team that's moving forward, but there's some internal dialogue that's really pushing me away from that potential and experiencing what God has for me at this time.
You got it 100%. So I get to a point where I just burst out crying one night in bed next to my wife. And
Mm,
she's like, dude, what is going on with you? And I was like, yo, I'm just not happy. Like
yeah.
nothing is making me happy. Like amidst all of this stuff that's going on. And please hear what I'm saying to you. I'm happily married. Like there's really nothing that I could pinpoint to say, like, okay, this is terrible in my life. But yet those thoughts consume me to the point where like now I'm serving two masters just so I could keep it relevant. That's what's happening. So I get up every day and I'm working, I'm grinding, I'm passionate about it. But this other master is like, what you really doing? Like, how's this gonna benefit you? You can see E blowing up, you can see CJ. Like, how's this
Mm,
benefiting you? So again, I'm human, y'all. Those thoughts, they are impactful. And if you're not intentional, and this is the part, if you're not intentional about doing something with it, you are no match for that thing. Your
right.
subconscious is a real beast and you're no match. So the book came about and it's so funny. I felt like God told me to start writing. There was no book concept. It was just start writing, get some stuff out of
Hmm.
your head. So I started challenging myself to just sit every morning and write. It was probably a couple months later. Eric was like, man, you should write a book. Not out of
Mm,
nowhere, like, dude, I think you should write a book. People need to hear and understand your experience. And I'm like, I've been writing, but like not a book. I'll kind of fast forward. We came across the disc assessment. We took it and modified it. Now we have a flight assessment. And that was one of the things that really kind of catapulted me into like, you got to learn yourself. That's how we understood now extrovert, introvert, um, DISC for us, pilot, ground crew, flight
hmm.
attendant, air traffic control, all that. So when I studied the assessment and I started to get an idea of my preferences, because that's what the assessment shows you, just your preferences. Like here's how you
Hmm.
kind of attack life. Here's how you deal with things. When I started studying it, it's like, oh no, I need to understand myself better. Because what's happening is however long I've been alive, I've had a story, I've had a script that's been playing subconsciously, and that's now dictating what I'm seeing and how I'm operating. That night with my wife, from that night on, I just started getting up early. And again, you know how God works, bro. I can't sleep past 3 o'clock in the morning. Like I'm just up and I'm staring around, like, what am I supposed to do? Write? I'm like,
Mm,
write what? I don't know. Just go sit down at your desk and write. Okay. I just come here and sit and I just remember like, and it was weird because stuff would just come to me. Man, I remember when this thing in high school, like, oh, you know what? And just stories would come and come, and I would just write, write, write. I ended up with like, and again, it's not a huge book by any means. Like y'all can see the book, right? It's
hmm.
not a huge book, but um, I ended up with probably double the amount that made it in here. Like I just wrote, when I tell you, like God would just bring stuff to me. And because now it's present of mind, and I'm really on this search of, Karl, you can't live in these two worlds anymore. You got to fix this. Like, God, I need help. I'm uncomfortable every
Mm-hmm.
single day. I'm working with Eric. I got to come home. I got to look at my wife. Like, I'm not comfortable, God. Like, this is not where I'm supposed to be. I'm in a, like, I feel like I'm in a trap, like some kind of real, like deep, dark place. And I don't like it. I don't enjoy it. So the more I wrote, the more I started understanding, okay, I see. I have one older brother. I have always been a little brother.
Mm-hmm.
I live a little brother life. So I'm
Yeah.
always looking to Eric, looking to CJ. Even though CJ is younger than me, I'm looking to everybody else for direction. Like I'm looking. And again, so now I'm doing real introspection of like, who are you, Karl? Like, why are you this way? What are the triggers? Why do you think the way you think? And the more I started doing that and understanding it, is like, this is starting to make sense. You're not a bad guy. You're not this. You've always been a little brother, and you
Mm.
had expectations that somebody else was gonna always take care of you in the way that your brother took care of you. And it's like, while that's not a bad thing in itself, you're a grown man. There's some shifts that need to happen in your mind. You are a grown man. You cannot, and I want people to hear what I'm saying. So what I took to Eric, what I took to CJ was like, hey, I'm you guys' little brother. Make sure y'all are looking out for me and taking care of me. While we're out here trying to build a business. We're trying,
Full grown man. Yeah.
Eric is trying to take care of the world. And even though I'm not saying it, like the tension is there because you're not taking care of me like I thought you should. And again, I never knew this until I started writing. So this helped to clear up some stuff. And again, the good thing about Eric is he understands, right? He's somebody that genuinely cares about people. That's his superpower. It's not speaking. He genuinely cares about human beings. So he's like, hey, I understand what you're going through. You got to go through yours. I got to go through mine. He's gone through stuff. You know him.
Mm-hmm.
He's gone
Yeah.
through some stuff, right? But I'm bringing it back to God knew what we both needed to get us not only to work together, to help us to get out of our comfort zones and grow, but now this thing is so deep that it's able to impact millions of people while impacting us.
Wow.
So it just, again, the book came out of it. Now the book led to a community where, I'm meeting with people on a weekly basis. Like we got coaching programs, like we're talking, and there are a lot of people surprised based on the assessment. 30% of the world identifies with the temperament that I have, the preferences that I have. 30% of the world.
Wait a second, man. Don't move past that because I think that's critical. When I was doing the assessment, I realized, when y'all said, I was like, wait a second. When we look at people like Eric Thomas, people like, those who don't know CJ, CJ's a, very bombastic. The idea of a pilot,
Yeah.
we think those are the people that the world naturally kind of keys in on. But what I'm hearing you say is those folks won't reach those 30% that connect with us.
Let me say it like this: they'll impact them.
Yeah.
But there's a way that they'll connect with me because of my experience. There's a way they'll connect. And this is across the humanity. Like there are people that God has given you some experiences that I've never had. God has given each of us unique experiences, and that's what your leadership is. You are a one of one. There's nobody else that's had your exact experience. But guess what? Somebody else is going to experience some similar things. So
Mm-hmm.
the introvert of me is like, I'll figure it out here on my own. Da da da. No, God gave it to you to help actually like set a path for other people. And I know that's tough for people to hear. Like, why I gotta be that? You don't have to be nothing. God gave you life. You breathing because it's His breath. So you ain't got to be nothing. You didn't have to be here. Real talk. But the fact that you are here and He is allowing you to have these experiences, please understand it's not to hurt you. Number one, it is going to help you to grow. And then there's nothing. Here's the part that I think people miss. Yes, it's uncomfortable. Yes, you got to go through stuff. And I'm thinking extreme. Pastor Tyus, our associate pastor here,
Mm-hmm.
just lost his daughter, like a 13-year-old daughter. Like, please hear what I'm saying. Like, I'm not even minimizing and saying that you were abused, or I'm not minimizing. I'm talking about all of it. Yes, it's horrific. But I'm saying to you, what you don't realize, the greatest feeling on the planet is knowing that you impacted somebody else's life.